If you have fat to lose and muscle to gain, then getting leaner is going to be a lot harder for you. I say this because if you're following most regular advice that's available online, you're going to feel like you're doing something wrong, which can cause you to start to question your genetics, whether your metabolism's slowing down, worrying about your test levels, or maybe you're just unsure whether you should be doing a bulk to gain some muscle or doing a cut to lose some body fat, or maybe you're just doing the wrong workouts. The bottom line is what might work for someone else might not work for you. So in this video, I want to explain why it's harder to get lean for skinny fat guys, why generic advice online isn't working and how it's holding you back, and then give you the exact same coaching method that I've been building over the past 10 years to transform over 215 skinny fat guys by losing body fat, gaining muscle, and improving their confidence and social lives at the same time. And as a side note, if you want to know the exact nutrition strategy these guys followed, I've provided a free nutritional blueprint that you can download in the bio below, so you can grab that and start seeing some visible changes within 7 days. So let's get straight to it. Why is it harder for skinny fat guys to lose body fat? Well, this is due to a few simple factors. First being your BMR is going to be lower, and that just means your basal metabolic rate. And this is just simply how many calories your body needs to simply exist. Because there's a lack of muscle tissue on your physique, your body doesn't need as many calories to sustain that physique. So when you eat a slightly higher amount of calories compared to everyone else, it's very easy for your body to hold and store body fat. So essentially, the less lean muscle you have, the less calories you can eat before you end up going into a surplus and start to gain weight. So if you follow most diet advice out there or most meal plans that are out there, they might be a little bit too high calorie for you, which means you won't actually be in a deficit to lose the body fat. But here's where it gets tricky. On the flip side, if your calorie deficit is too large and too low below your maintenance, then you'll start to lose body fat, yes, but you will also start to lose muscle tissue and go catabolic because you're not eating enough to sustain what muscle tissue you already have, which is why most men find themselves in that skinny fat physique to begin with. So that puts you in this skinny fat paradox dilemma where you've got to decide whether you're going to go on a cut, which means you might lose some size, strength, and performance, but you'll lose some body fat. So it's very likely you're going to hit a plateau with your fat loss, burn out, and sort of fall off and gain the weight back, which is what most guys end up doing. Or you might go onto a bulk and try and gain some of that muscle, but along the way, the body fat's going to go up with you because at the end of the day, you're eating in a calorie surplus. And if you don't train properly or you've got bad genetics or something's just not quite right with your programming and structure, it's very easy for you to gain more body fat than muscle, which makes you a slightly bigger version of skinny fat. Not to mention, even if you do that successfully, you then need to lose the body fat that you've just gained. And if you do that cut to extreme, then you might lose that muscle you've just gained. And I do say this from experience. These are the sort of things that I fell into myself when I tried to fix my own skinny fat physique. And that kind of leads me on to why generic fat loss advice is going to be holding you back, because this is exactly what happened to me. When you think fat loss, one of the first things that comes to your mind is doing loads of cardio. And cardio is fantastic for fitness and health, and I'm not knocking it, and I'm not saying you shouldn't even necessarily not do it. However, because I wanted to lose body fat, I thought to myself I need to be doing daily runs, fat burning classes at the gym, and doing circuit training to burn all the calories off, which is what a lot of fitness coaches and fat loss advice will be. However, if you're skinny fat, this can result in further losing more muscle, because excessive amounts of cardio paired with a calorie deficit, you will and can go catabolic and lose more muscle tissue, which is exactly what I did over here. And I've also personally had some friends and clients that have done the same thing, where they've tried to lose body fat, done a bunch of running, and ended up just a smaller version of skinny fat and frustrated. It's pretty much what happened with my client David. All the running made him lose a bit of body fat, yes, but he also ended up with less muscle and having a typical skinny fat physique. And the same for my client Matthew. He ate less, he moved more like everyone tells him to do, but he ended up skinny fat and was frustrated and hit a wall and just didn't know what to do to fix it. So when it comes to cardio, for right now, let's not prioritize that. We're going to prioritize something else, which I'll get to in just a moment. Also, if you're enjoying the video and you're skinny fat, hit like, because I always forget to tell people to do that, and this is YouTube and that's really important, and I probably should have said it at the start of the video. And whilst I'm telling you to do things, follow me on Instagram at Elite Transformation Project. And if you have any questions about this video, you can send me a message right on over there. So the second part of generic fat loss advice that's holding you back is calories and nutrition advice. What diet should you be following? Because when you're skinny fat, your calorie intake needs to be very, very specific. As I mentioned before, if the calories are too high, you will gain body fat. And if the calories are too low, you will lose muscle as well as fat. So you're basically just becoming a bigger version of skinny fat or a smaller version of skinny fat. A lot of diet advice out there acts like energy balance doesn't exist. Instead of telling you what calories to hit and how to adjust it, which is the only thing that's going to change your body in the first place. Let's say blanket statements like don't eat carbs after 6, only eat whole foods, put butter in your coffee, which actually is a thing. I don't know why the hell that's a thing. Either way, you go online, someone's telling you something different, and the amount of people talking about things that they don't even do themselves, like, oh, actually, it's your microbiomes. It's definitely not all the steroids I've been taking for 10 years. Well, actually, guys, it's about your hormones and microplastics. Like, people just talk about what's trending, what's hot, what's a new thing to stand out and get views. If everyone came out and said, right, guys, your calories need to be right, no one cares, no one's going to listen, which is probably why this video is going to get no views in the first place. But If you follow this, it's going to work. I'm a coach, not an influencer, so I don't care. So your calories need to be very specific if you're skinny fat. And in the third phase of this video, I'm going to explain how you can exactly do that so you can lose body fat and gain muscle. But that's another reason why generic diet advice is going to be doing more damage than good. Because when I took the same generic advice, I was eating chicken, broccoli, and rice 3 times a day from a little smelly plastic tub, which looking back on it now just seems hilarious. I would only eat sweet potato, not white potatoes, because that's bad carbs. And I would eat just the most boring, bland fish with no sauce, and I'd have broccoli. Now don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with those foods. They're all healthy, and I still think that your diet should be made up of some form of whole foods. Maybe like 80% of it should be good quality. The bottom line was, it was very hard to stick to, and my calories total weren't where they needed to be for me to change. So I got 0 results, and I struggled and hated it, and I missed out on a lot of social events and family meals, so it just wasn't a good time. And then diets like keto and only eating steak and eggs off a wooden chopping board. And again, steak and eggs are fantastic. Like, I'm not saying don't eat those. Absolutely eat those if you're not vegan or vegetarian. But don't be afraid of carbs. Don't be afraid to live a little and eat other meals that actually you like. Because if you get steak and eggs every single day for the rest of your life, your cholesterol level is going to be absolutely whack. You're going to be lacking fiber. You're going to be lacking glycogen. You're going to get headaches, and you will definitely be constipated. And a lot of these carnivore keto influencers end up getting ill. So bearing in mind, a lot of people giving out diet advice haven't even done it themselves yet. They're just following a trend. The calories need to be 100% correct, and I'll break down exactly how in the next few steps. And the last thing that's generic that is not going to help you is the training advice. A lot of people will tell you to do high rocks, paddle, running, hikes, plyometrics. Don't do bench press. It's killing your gains. Anything that people actually do or know works, people are going to call out and say it doesn't work because you have to sound different. The bottom line is, if you're skinny fat and you're trying to lose body fat and gain muscle, or at least keep it, use common sense. Your body adapts to what you put it through. That's what training is. If you want to get fitter, you do a lot of running and you become fitter. If you want to get stronger, you lift progressively heavier weights whilst getting good rest and good protein, you'll get stronger. A strong body needs to keep lean mass. So if you're in a calorie deficit and you're doing loads of running, you're not going to keep a bunch of muscle. The same goes for the gym. If you're just doing workouts to chase the pump, you're lifting light weights, you're doing loads of running and you're in a calorie deficit, your body doesn't need to keep a bunch of muscle to adapt to that lifestyle. So a lot of training advice to fix skinny fat is going to do more damage than good. This is how I lost a lot of muscle my first time round trying to fix skinny fat. So I went for the light weights to avoid injury, get toned, get a pump, and I ended up just shrinking, going right back to default. And I genuinely thought there was something wrong with me. Turns out the advice I was taking was too generic for my specific physique. So we want to aim to get stronger, because getting stronger with a calorie deficit will result in more muscle retention. But for a lot of clients I've worked with, like Reese and Tom and Pierce over here, have actually gained muscle whilst being in a calorie deficit because they've gotten stronger on that deficit. So getting strong and avoiding all the generic fitness training advice and overcomplicating things, I would tend to suggest you avoid that. Okay, so let's get to the most important fun part of the video. How can you actually skinny fat? What got all these guys lean and muscular naturally in less than a year without any fads, gimmicks, peptides, TRT, just pure natural hard work? How did they do it? What's the strategy? How can you fix skinny fat? So like I said before, a cut's not going to be ideal and a bulk's not going to be ideal. So where do we start? We are going to start with a recomposition. Now, you get smart asses in the comment going, oh, that's still a cut, mate. Yeah, to a degree, because you're in a deficit, but it's done slightly differently. There's 2 ways you can do a recomposition. You can eat at your maintenance calories and aim to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. I would suggest not doing that, because if your calories are slightly over or slightly under, you may just stall and look the same, because at the end of the day, if you're eating at maintenance, you're probably going to look like you're eating at maintenance. It's not definitive enough, and you might spend 2, 3, 4, 5 months of hard work tracking your calories, paying attention, and then go, actually, I kind of look the same. So it's much better to aim for a smaller calorie deficit. We want to use that nutritional blueprint that I've provided down below. Download that, and you want to work out your exact maintenance calories with the workouts factored in, which that will show you how to do that. And then we want to take 500 calories off that maintenance target. And the reason we want 500 calories is 500 times 7 days of the week is going to be 3,500, which roughly equates to 1 pound of fat lost. So if we're losing half a pound to a pound of fat per week whilst hitting high protein and pairing that with getting stronger in the gym, we're going to lose body fat steadily and surely whilst keeping, gaining and retaining muscle naturally with no gimmicks. It's exactly what my clients have done. It's exactly what we do every single time. And there's a lot of added benefits to this. The diet's a little bit easier to stick to because the calories aren't drastically low right off the bat. Your energy levels and performance is still going to be high, so the gym's not going to be an absolute slog. And because it's more enjoyable and less extreme, you'll probably be able to stick to it long enough to get the result. Because if you can't stick to it longer than a week or 2 weeks, you're not going to get anywhere. This is a more sustainable and healthier and realistic approach. Now, of course, your body will get used to how many calories you're eating over time, so you will get metabolic adaptation. So you either have to drop the calories gradually or increase the overload in the gym. Or this could actually be when adding a small amount of supplementary cardio can help. like adding a step target or doing an extra run on your rest days. This is why I always recommend that you track everything. Every single week, my clients track their calories, their food, their weigh-ins, all the important stuff like their progress photos and their performance in the gym. And then I will review it thoroughly to make sure things are looking good and make the adjustments as and when needed. Some guys need to lower their calories relatively quickly. Some guys can keep the calories the same and keep getting results. And it's important that you do that correctly, because if you drop them down too soon, too quickly, you risk muscle loss. And then of course you might perpetuate a fall off or a binge. So you're going to track your calories and track your workouts and pay attention to them each week. And when it comes to the workouts, we want to aim for specific metrics of overload. If you just go to the gym, you go on the machines that are available, you just follow generic workout plans and change them every week, there's no definitive structure or progression. So to keep this really simple and really tangible, work out how many days you can actually go to the gym. Not what you think you could do or what you want to do, how many days you can actually stick to. I've had a lot of guys come in and go, yeah, I can do 7 days a week, bro, well, let's get to it. And then day 2, they've already missed, and then they can't do 1 a week. So meet yourself where you're at. If you can only train on the weekends, do a 2-day training split. If you train during the weekdays, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do a 3-day training split. If you love the gym and it's your favorite thing in the world, do 5 days. Either way, pick the amount of days that you can substantially stick to, and then make sure you're hitting at least one of every muscle group at least once per week. So for example, very simply put, I train 3 days a week, half an hour, 45 minutes, and I do a pull push legs. Absolute basic, bro. But take it from me, someone that's tried absolutely every style of training you can imagine. High volume, low volume, occlusion training, isolation, powerlifting, reverse pyramid sets, 5x5s, you name it, I've tried it. And everything has pros and cons, but nothing really beats the basics done properly. For example, with the pull push legs, I would do a main compound movement, and then I will follow that up with a bunch of isolation movements. I'll make sure that I'm getting stronger, I'm working on my form, and making sure that I'm progressing in one way, shape, or form. And if I'm not, I'll make an adjustment. It's really that simple. Just make sure that you're writing down your workouts in a notepad or on an app. And then every 4 to 6 weeks, review your overall performance. Are you adding reps? Are you adding weight? Are you adding volume? Is your form looking good? And if something ain't working or it's plateaued, make an adjustment. If it's going really well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's a recomposition. Small calorie deficit, high protein, getting stronger in the gym, and reviewing performance and adjusting it. Once you get lean enough, as your body fat comes down, you've gained a little bit of muscle, you might be absolutely fine with that physique. I'll use Reese again. You know, this is 100% a recomposition. He didn't need to gain any muscle after this. He was happy with his physique there. Whereas my client David, he'd lost some body fat. He looked leaner. He liked it, but then he decided he wanted a little bit more muscle. So he did what's called a reverse diet into a lean growing phase. And this just means once you get lean, you don't want to just drop the ball and start eating loads of food and go right back to normal, because then you end up looking like you've gone back to normal. It's important to manage the finishing part of the diet. So once you've done a recomposition, you want to reverse diet back up to your maintenance calories. So instead of going, I finished my diet, back to 4,000 calories, or, oh yeah, I'm not going to pay attention to my numbers anymore. It's going to be far better for you to slowly build up your calories back up to your maintenance. Now, your maintenance would have changed by this point because your composition has changed and your weight has changed and your lifestyle has changed. So you want to use that nutritional blueprint again to rework out your numbers based on your new stats, and that would give you your new maintenance. And then you're going to gradually build up your calories towards that maintenance and then stay at maintenance for a week or so to make sure the scales stay the same weight. Once that's happened, if you need to add some more size, you put your calories into a small surplus, somewhere between 2, 3, or 500 calories above what your maintenance is. And then from here, you would shift your workouts from going from strength focused to muscle hypertrophy focused, which is just saying more reps, more time and attention. And to be honest with you, if you carry on with the strength training, you're not necessarily not going to gain muscle. It's just a little bit more optimal to aim for more muscle time and attention, just because that will help you grow a bit more muscle a little bit more definitively. And you do the exact same thing here. You track your weight, you track your performance, you look at your progress photos, you look at your calories, and you want to gain half a pound to a pound per week. And by doing it this way, you avoid the massive fall off and gaining loads of body fat. You don't go into the dirty bulk territory where you drop all the good habits and just get fat and then have to do the whole recomposition again. And if you get lean at the start and then slowly reverse diet into the growing phase, you can actually bulk and gain size for longer, which means more net muscle gains. And if you do it lean on the way up, you'd only need 8 weeks, 12 weeks just to recomp and dial it back in anytime you want to get back to being shredded again. That's how you can get lean, stay lean, be more flexible, and can do it actually naturally as well. That's the biggest benefit of this. There's no point taking life-shortening drugs that are going to damage your organs and, quite frankly, mess with your mind just to get a bit of muscle quickly that you're going to lose as soon as you stop taking it. You might as well build it naturally so you can take some pride in yourself, actually build confidence through your own resistance and not relying on other things, and you're just healthier, and you probably live a bit longer as well. What a nice benefit. So that's the exact method that has worked over 215 times for my clients. And if this is a little bit overwhelming, I have tried to make it a little bit simple, but the hardest part in reality is actually sticking to it and actually having the discipline to look at it and review your progress each week. So if you do want my one-to-one personal help with this, I do have a link below where you can book a call and see if I can help you out one-to-one about my other online clients. Or if you have any questions, you can drop a message on Instagram at Elite Transformation Project. And if you like this video, like the video. And if you want to know a little bit more about fixing skinny fat, like and subscribe and all that stuff. And there's probably a video over here that does something similar to this one. I hope that helps, because getting lean as a skinny fat guy is not easy, and I've been messed about from it. And if this video saves you from falling for the BS, then I've done my job. Comment Apple for the algorithm.